Welcome to the podcast, guys, with Rob and Nando. We're going to get into another reaction video, but before we do so, do you guys want that surprise or not? Get us to 1,000 subscribers so you can see that surprise and what we have in store for you. Follow us, like the video, subscribe to the channel, don't be shy. Follow along because what we have coming is something great. So now let's get into the reaction video.
I have a question for the men. Are you guys okay? Like, truly, are you okay? Because my best friend and I just became newly single last year out of long-term relationships. And it seems like every guy we go on dates with has the same issues, and they all seem to stem from deep-rooted self-insecurity issues of having a bad relationship with themselves and fear of being vulnerable with someone. And that's so sad for them. Like, I can't imagine living like that. Like, are you guys okay? Do you need a hug? Some warm milk and tea? I don't know.
All right, so just to quickly recap that nonsense. Ridiculous. That girl is asking if guys are okay. If guys are okay. And then there's some deep-rooted insecurities involved. She's asking if guys need a hug and some milk and tea. I mean, just ridiculousness throughout.
That entire video was just like smug, passive-aggressive, deflecting, like everything about that video. The moment I pushed play on it, I already saw where this was going. So
they were in a long-term relationship. They ended up being single last year. Now they're dating, and they can't seem to figure what's going on with guys. But it seems like they may be the issue. So I just think it's crazy. I just think it's crazy how these girls think.
Yeah, you know, a couple things that I think are worth pointing out in this video. So she starts off the video by saying that both her and her best friend both got out of long-term relationships, which, by the way, in a few minutes we're going to actually have a curveball. So watch the whole video because there's going to be a part 2 to this. And she's saying that her and her friend are going out dating, and it seems that every single guy has deeply rooted insecurity issues that stem from a lack of vulnerability. So it always makes me laugh because this girl, I don't know her age. She looks like she's in her early 20s. But it makes me laugh when you have some young girl who's completely clueless, goes on TikTok, and all of a sudden she's playing therapist, she's playing psychologist, and saying that all guys just happen to fall into this convenient bucket of deeply rooted insecurity. All of them, right? No, not some of them. Every single guy that she goes on a date with all have the same issues. And the second thing that I noticed is that, of course, like women usually do, they do not consider or even mention the slightest possibility that women, or in her case, her and her friend, have anything to do with it. You notice she didn't mention anything about women or about dating. She just kind of pointed her finger and said, all men, yes, they're all insecure. They all have deeply rooted issues. Yes, that's what they all have. Because a 22-year-old or, young girl thinks so,
They threw it on the guys. They said that they have a fear of being vulnerable and they are insecure and all this crap.
It's the same echo chamber of comments that I've been. I mean, if you watch any female talk about men, they all say the same thing. At this point, I would be like shocked if a woman actually stepped forward and said something new for once. All they basically preach is insecurity.
Well, based on her question, do you think she's actually sincere about asking if guys are okay? Like, does she really actually care, or is she just BSing?
I don't think so. The tone of this video that I get is just kind of this like borderline, like sarcastic, smug, kind of like making fun of it type of attitude. Like just the way she even asked the questions, like, do you need milk? Do you need tea? No, we don't need milk or tea.
We need peace. We need women to bring peace to all guys. All guys want peace. All guys want support. All guys truly want love. Women talk about love. Guys want love, but women don't know how to show love.
I wish that she kind of went a little bit more into depth as to what made her say these things, because she made some pretty kind of like bold statements there, like, oh, all men are insecure. They all have deeply rooted issues. So if she seems so confident in what she's saying, look, when we make statements like that on this podcast, we try to at least put some backstory behind it, some context behind it, some data. Like if we make a statement like that, it's like, okay, we think this because that. I would really like to know her reasoning behind it, and like, what is it about those dates and what is it about those guys that made her say that?
Well, we always support what we say, and based on the questions that we have, we always give our thoughts. And what I think about this is pretty much supporting what you say. Very patronizing, insincere, not sincere at all, selfish, not taking responsibility for their actions as women. And I don't think she gives a shit, pretty much.
It's hilarious.
Gaslighting.
It's that, good, exactly. That's what the word I was missing before. Like it's 100% gaslighting. Like they all do the same thing. At this point, it's just like a broken record. Like, oh, all guys are insecure. All guys have issues. And then she's like, oh, I feel bad. Do you need milk and cookies? It's just like, there's no hope in dating.
Where in there is she saying that, oh, maybe we made a mistake. Maybe we're the problem. Maybe let's look in the mirror and see if we did something wrong as women. To be out of a long-term relationship for more than a year and to just go around dating guys, I mean, have you looked in the mirror?
Number one, I'd like to know, she did mention at the beginning of the video that she just got out of a relationship. I'd like to know what kind of guy she was dating, and I'd like to know how that relationship ended. Because it's kind of convenient that it just so happens that her, she said, best friend became single. I'd like to know what happened there. Because usually when women talk like this, it's because they had a bad experience, and they're just kind of like projecting their feelings or whatever went wrong in their relationship, and now they're projecting it. So when she's saying like all guys are XYZ, there's a good chance she's just talking about the ex of the guy she was dating.
I'm thinking that she's the one who has deep-rooted insecurity issues.
Yeah, that's usually the case. Yeah,
I think she's just projecting whatever she went through. She's just throwing it at the guy as like he's the problem, but she's the one who really has those problems. She's the one who can't be vulnerable, and I think that's important for women to address. When you're feeling that sort of way where you don't feel good about your dating, relationship status, the way things are going in your personal life with regards to dealing with men, I think it's something that you have to face and deal with head on, so you don't carry those issues throughout your daily life. Because that's just going to show people who you are. You're going to reflect onto the world in a negative way. Why would you want to put yourself out there, portray yourself as that kind of person? You have an issue, talk to somebody, find a way to deal with it. If it's an issue that someone can't help you with, then maybe it's something that you have to focus on working on. Maybe it's not dating guys. Maybe it's just taking a break and focusing on yourself as well. We always preach here and tell men that they have to work on themselves, that they have to hit the gym, that they have to make money, that they have to work on their confidence, that they have to be relentless, that they have to work on their hair and make sure that their beard is trimmed properly and that they smell good and that they're wearing good clothes, that they look good. All these things. Women should also focus on things like that, but as well as things inside. It's not just the outside.
Yeah.
You want to be well inside. You want to be well mentally.
That's the problem, is a lot of these women look good. Like I would say she's pretty attractive, but they're complete basket cases internally.
What do you think made them really break off from that long-term relationship? Was it an issue maybe with the guy, or was it a personal issue that they had within themselves that they were like, listen, I have to get away from this relationship?
I don't know what the reason is that they broke up, but we are going to have a part 2 to this video where we play one of her other TikToks where she talks about her previous relationship, and we're going to have a nice surprise there. So we're going to stay for that, because we're going to play that video in another few minutes. Let's see how her last relationship went.
Again, it's just astonishing to me how it's clear as day how they have an issue, but they're putting it on the guy as if the guy has an issue.
And this is just another reminder of why you cannot take any dating advice from women at all. I can't take this stuff seriously. She's talking about guys being vulnerable. That's your advice to men? So you're saying that men have deeply rooted insecurities, and your answer is for men to be vulnerable? That's the answer? Don't listen to women dating advice, because it'll completely sabotage any chance you have.
Well, that's what I was going to get into. Should women be giving dating advice at all?
Absolutely not. Women shouldn't be giving dating advice to men or to women, because especially since we're in this space, I like to listen to all types of podcasts, both male and female. I like to hear both sides of the story to see what both men and women are saying. From what I've heard from the female side, most of it is just pure pandering. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. A lot of the times they're just projecting this nonsense. And like we've said many times, women, like, they don't speak the truth. They just speak this kind of like pandering, like, oh, well, I feel like, and my energy, and this, and it just like, you could listen to it for an hour straight and get absolutely nothing useful out of it. So do not listen to women dating advice.
And what she said, men should be vulnerable. Should men be vulnerable?
Hell no. I don't understand where women get these like type of ideas from to go on social media and say this nonsense. And I think most men get it by now. Like, no matter what she says, I think most men get it by now. You cannot be vulnerable in any type of relationship with a female. You shouldn't be vulnerable in front of females, period. Even if it's just a female, like, even if you're not dating her, just like, that's not a side that you show to women. That is a feminine. You're going into a feminine state of mind, a feminine form when you act that way.
You took the words out of my mouth. You're showing your feminine side as a man, which you shouldn't be showing. You should be showing your masculine side to attract a woman. You're pretty much showing a woman that you're weak when you're showing vulnerability.
Bingo.
You might as well cry in front of her if you want to be vulnerable. It's stupid.
Yes.
So that's horrible advice. Don't take that advice, guys out there. It seems like women have some deep-rooted issues and they need to figure it out.
What do you say we play the video of her talking about her previous relationship? So the first video that we just played you was her asking men if men are okay. She said that she recently became single, and every date she goes on, it seems that every guy has deeply rooted issues, that they're insecure, yada, yada, yada. So let's play. There's another video that I found on her TikTok of her talking about her last relationship. So let's play that real quick.
Last year, I ended a super toxic relationship, and it had been years and years and years, and it was really, really hard to get out of. And I feel like the hardest part of getting out of it was all of the realizations that I had post-breakup of how horribly I had been treated for years and how much manipulation had happened that I didn't realize was even happening. And so I feel like I'm coming into myself I am hesitant to say as a completely different person, because I'm the person that I was before this relationship, and I can feel it, but it feels like a new person, and it feels overwhelming, and it's all happening so fast but slow. And that's the thing that I struggle with. Of some mornings I wake up with extreme panic attacks, and I feel like he is literally suffocating
now who
me.
has deeply
And this morning was one of those mornings. I feel like I can't breathe. I feel so out of body, and I just feel like my life isn't mine.
You know what? I think we've heard enough. Okay. All right. Surprise, surprise.
How much contradiction is there?
Oh, I'm glad I found this video, because something told me, like, look through her other videos and see. There's got to be more to this. So, lo and behold, surprise, surprise. She just got out of a very long, multi-year toxic relationship where she claimed she was being manipulated, and it was, quote unquote, very hard to get out of. And now she feels like a new person, and she's, of course, now reborn into this new spiritual person that's finding herself. It's the same story over and over again. How many times have we said it on this podcast? Women crave toxicity. They don't want nice guys. They don't want vulnerability, no matter how many times they say that's bullshit. She just told you she just got out of a multi-year long relationship with a toxic man. And now that the relationship is over, of course, she's found her spiritual peace and, you know, finding all these like Bible quotes to bring to TikTok. She's the one that has deeply rooted insecurity issues. She's the one that clearly has some kind of problems. And based on what she's saying, it sounds to me like maybe she should forget about guys altogether for now and figure herself out before she goes out and starts dating and starts, because this basket case is going to start bringing problems into other guys' lives because she's not over whatever it is that happened in her last relationship.
Well, she wanted the bad boy. She got the bad boy, and now she regrets it. That's what you ladies ask for. You want the bad boy. You don't want the guy that's doing what he has to do. He's doing things the right way, properly, and doing things to do it because he expects women to react a certain way to it, not like this, right? It's toxic, but women want toxic. So why do you complain about it? There's no point. You get what you ask for. You get into something, and then you complain about it. You bitch about it. You moan and groan about it. We preach here. Guys have to get their act together and get their shit together in order to be able to attract the best women out there.
I would bet money on it at this point that any woman you see on social media that's like making like stupid, like these like sarcastic, like passive aggressive comments towards men and putting all men into this like bucket, they all give or take have a similar scenario to what she described. They chose the bad boy or the toxic guy. They chose to stay in that relationship. In her case, she said it was years and years. She didn't say how many years, but it definitely wasn't one or two. She made it seem like they were together for a long time. She said it was very hard to get out of, whatever the hell that means. No, my dear, just admit it. You liked that toxic relationship, and you probably stayed in it until it just got so bad that you had to leave, or maybe they got into one big fight and it ended. But they will never tell you the truth. You see. What she's doing is pandering. If she was being completely honest without that female filter, what she would have said is she would have admitted it was a toxic relationship and I liked every single bit of it. And I had probably 10 or 12 guys in the friend zone that would have been nice, good, vulnerable guys to me, but I wasn't interested in any of them. I wasn't sexually attracted to any of them. I was with my toxic, messed up ex-boyfriend for X amount of years. The proof is in the pudding.
Nowhere did I see accountability. Nowhere did I see her admitting her faults. Where's the blame for her to take? She's blaming the guy. The guy was toxic. A huge 180 from what she originally said.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to play the video to show you guys that contrast. Exactly.
Our guy's okay. Now we're wondering if she's okay.
Yes.
Because it seems like she's not okay and she has to figure some things out. That girl, from our point of view, she has to just start from ground zero, work her way up, and do what she has to do to attract the best guy towards her. How can she do that? Guys want looks. They want to make sure they have someone that's attractive to, that they feel attracted to. And that's looks. Also, a girl that comes around, of course, brings peace, support, honesty, loyalty, and obviously good in bed. So, and then all the extras like the sandwich here and there. Not here and there, but if they're in a relationship, a meal every day, and, just someone to not start a fight, because men don't want to argue. Men deal with a lot of crap nowadays. The world is hard for everybody nowadays. It's not easy for both men and women, but especially for men that go out there and they come home as fighting champions, fighting against all the odds at their jobs, their careers, coming to bring in the bacon and support you women and the kids if you're that far in a relationship. Be that woman that a guy wants. Don't be toxic, because it seems like the toxic ones here are the women. And it's sad to say, but it's what it is. We're hitting it head on. We're putting the hammer to the nail.
This is what I love about doing reaction videos, and we're speaking to like real stuff, and this was like a perfect real life example of how females contradict themselves. Because in one video she's saying A, and then you scroll a couple videos down, and lo and behold, you find out there's a whole bunch more to it. You know, look, in her case, luckily she seems like a younger, attractive, feminine woman. We've seen a bunch of women, on social media, on dating apps that are like butch, masculine. They get into career mode. Like those are like the older women that are like in their 30s, and there's almost little to no hope for them. In her case, I think she still has, she has time. I think if she gets through whatever the hell it is that she went through with that last relationship, she still has a chance to straighten out. But man, these females need to stop pandering this nonsense on social media, because they have no idea what they're talking about. She clearly was in a toxic relationship. She chose a guy like that. She decided to stay in that relationship. We've done videos where we talk about like red flags. And one thing I remember saying in the past is whenever you hear a female utter those words like, oh, well, I'm healing, or I'm in my healing journey, stay the hell away, because it's usually females like this where they got out of a long-term toxic relationship. And when they say they're healing, they're really just like not over the ex yet.
They're not healed.
No.
They try to find themselves, because I've heard that before, and they can't find themselves.
No.
It's just one lie after another. But who are you really lying to? You're not lying to men. You're lying to yourselves. You're the ones who have the emotions about all this. Men, they move forward. Obviously, if they sacrifice a lot for you, they're going to be pissed off and, probably hold a grudge a bit. But they can push forward. Women hold on to these emotions so tight, and then it blows up like a balloon, blows up, and it pops. Of course, you're going to have your flip out moments, but not if you do things properly. You have to really, really focus on yourselves as well. Just like we tell men to focus on themselves, we're telling women to focus on themselves. Because again, we're going to be hard on the ladies, because again, we're helping guys out here, but we're also going to be hard on the guys too, because we actually want to help you out, ladies out too. We're here for both sides. As much as you ladies think that we're not here for the women, we're here to help everybody out. We want the women to understand the men, and for men to understand that you ladies have expectations from us men that we have to live up to. And we're explaining to guys what it takes to be able to attract the best woman. But you, as the woman, have to put yourself in position to be the best woman, to be the woman to be in demand for a guy to want. And it's not just about being hot. It's not just about being sexy. It's not about that.
I agree 1,000%. Where women screwed up for themselves, most of the time it's not even the looks. Women have this obsession over like losing weight and Botox and all the surgeries and nonsense. Most of the time it's not even the looks. What kills it, and I think you'll agree with me on this, what kills it is the moment they open their mouth. When you really get to know them and you see how nasty they are, or like they gaslight, or they play games, or they turn things around against you, that's what kills it. It's not really the looks. Most of the time, I mean, unless she's like really overweight or has a mustache or something, most women are like attractive enough to date. So we're not saying that it's an issue of that. It's how they act. And so if we're going to talk about deeply rooted insecurities and issues, I think a lot of women have deeply rooted insecurity issues, not men. And men hit the gym, they work hard, and they go home. Our lives are pretty simple. Like, we have a bad day, we have a good day, we deal with it. But I think it's women that have a lot of issues upstairs.
And the thing is that it's a switch. One moment, women are doing fine. They say everything's okay. In that first video, she seemed like she was okay, and she was saying, the guy was the issue. Now, 180, it seems like she's having the issues. It's like some sort of bipolar situation.
Bingo.
Figure it out. What do you want? And then once you women know what you want, then you can actually tell guys what you want, because we ain't mind readers. Men aren't mind readers. I'm pretty damn good at picking up signals now, but, a lot of guys aren't mind readers. You got to be straight up. Let them know what you want and what goals you have, what expectations you have. if you want the wrong things too, then well, you're gonna get a guy that's gonna give you the wrong things. Don't complain about it. Don't come out of the relationship and complain about it because it's what you originally wanted.
She mentioned, I'll end it with this. She mentioned in the video that it seems that every guy that she goes on a date with, give or take, acts the same, right? And look, I'm going to say this, and this is what women need to be prepared for, because now the tides are kind of turning thanks to like Red Pill, thanks to podcasts, and just guys like kind of waking up from all this nonsense and realizing how this all works. I think what's going to happen now is you're going to have guys that are much more careful, much more guarded. And I think the age of the simp is going to slowly but surely die out. And I think more guys have learned that lesson. They've moved past it. And that's why these females are going on their dates. And the first date, second date, and the guy's kind of cold because that's how they made us. You know what I'm saying? And those days of us just like, people pleasing and spending money on dates, because I think these women expect that, they think you're going to take them on a date and be like happy-go-lucky, flowers, date, dinner, drinks, and she's probably going on dates and realizing like, shit, these guys are being kind of like closed off. They're being kind of cold.
Well, women just go on dates and they're like, well, I'm present, I'm here, so you got to treat me the world because I'm here and you should respect my presence. You should bow down to my presence. So that's why women want men to pay for bottles and lavish dinners.
I think those days are slowly coming to an end, especially now the economy stuff. Guys are going to be very careful and selective and more guarded with like, especially if we're talking about the first date or two. I think those days where guys are just going to be openly simping and spending money and like, giving these women free undeserved attention like that. I think it's good. Simps will always exist. I'm not saying they don't exist. Simps will always exist. But I think thanks to like, YouTube and like this space, look how large the whole Red Pill space has become over the past few years. I think more guys are focusing on different things now, work, gym, finances, and women are kind of like fell down to like 4th, 5th place. So
I'm all for this space. That's why we're on it. And I'm all for other YouTubers putting it out there as well. We're all here as a team. That's how I see it. Respect here is a default. Unless, you disrespect us. It's a different story. But respect here is a default. We automatically respect everybody. We want what's best for, as much as this is a men's podcast, we want what's best for women as much as we want what's best for men. So we give a shit about everybody. But of course, this is a men's podcast, and we give a shit about men. So what I want to ask you is, based on her question earlier, that we actually care, and we're going to be genuine about answering this question. Are men actually okay nowadays? Are they doing okay with this whole situation in women?
I think that now men have kind of gotten to a point where they've completely reprioritized their life. I think a lot more and more men now are focusing on finances. They're focusing on the gym. And like I said, I think women are just kind of like, women used to be a priority in men's life, but I think the way dating has changed, that's becoming a thing of the past. That's all I can really say about that.
Yeah, I think, again, there's guys that are struggling, but it's not as much. I feel like men are doing better and better each day. I know and I see men are out there working hard, getting in the gym, doing what they can to be their best manly self.
Love to see it.
Love to see it too. So on that note, we are going to wrap it up because we're out of time. Again, guys, if you want that if you want that surprise, subscribe to the channel, get us to 1,000, and we will give you that surprise shortly.
See you guys next time.
Peace.